Now we want to take a look at a couple of examples, all of which are examples of arguments that are valid under a notion that we're going to call predicate logic. I'm going to explain that and what that is, right now. Let's take a look at our first example of an argument, the one that we were just discussing. Socrates is a man and all men are mortal, therefore Socrates is mortal. Valid argument, right? Notice what's interesting is it really depends to a large extent. The validity depends on all men being mortal. And let's take a look at another argument. I think this is a good one as well. All communists admire Karl Marx. Ronald Reagan did not admire Karl Marx, therefore Ronald Reagan was not a communist. And for those of you who may be a little bit young to remember, Ronald Reagan was the president when the Soviet Union fell, and it was regarded as a great victory of the American system, the free enterprise system over communism. But notice again, this argument sounds like a good, that is, at least the conclusion follows from the premises. I think, pretty clear Ronald Reagan wasn't a communist, and he certainly didn't admire Marx, and certainly it looks like it's true all communists do admire Marx, because after all, Marx was the guy who came up with the political philosophy known as communism, or the economic system known as communism today. One final example. Since all dogs are mammals and all mammals are warm-blooded, all dogs are warm-blooded. Another one looks like good argument. And notice this is, all of them have that all are. That is, all the premises and the conclusion have that in. And I think in all of these cases, the validity of the argument is determined by the logical form, and in particular it's what I'm going to call a pattern of valid arguments in predicate logic. And now the question is going to be, what the heck is this predicate logic? So let's turn to that for a second. Now take the sentence, Derek Jeter is unmarried. I have to check this every season to make sure he still didn't get married. Sentences grammatically have a subject and a predicate, at least in English, all of them do. Derek Jeter, or declarative sentences, at least Derek Jeter is the subject, is married is the predicate. And I think in all of our cases, when we're looking at statements that say things like all bachelors are unmarried, some are, something is a certain predicate, we're going to see that where all these statements are relying on putting things into various categories. So sometimes this is referred to as categorical logic. So for example, if we're looking at the predicate is unmarried, we can divide the predicate up into kind of bachelors and bachelorettes. Both are in unmarried, an unmarried male, woman. We're not going to find, if we look at that category or the set of all people who are unmarried, we're going to find Derek Jeter in the bachelors. You're not going to find me because I am married. So what I want to tell you about this is that all of these kinds of arguments depend on parts of the sentences, about predicates, categories that you're putting various subjects into.